But yeah, I'm the founder of World Changing Kids. My friend Nancy is also here. She's running the camp with me. She's doing the art part of the camp. And we've had these awesome kids all week, and we've talked all about water. We've talked about water as a human right. We've talked
Mm.
about the reality of having to walk really far to collect water. And then we've talked a lot about what you did and the awesome work you did. So I will turn it over to you to do a brief introduction, anything you want to say about your great work, and then the kids have lots of questions for you.
That sounds great. My name's Ryan. I'm from Kempville, and I'm 29. But when I was 6, my teacher in grade 1 was trying to explain to us water and why it was a problem in different parts of the world, and why sometimes kids couldn't even go to school because of it. And we were 6, so we were a little younger than a lot of you guys, so we didn't really understand what that meant. We asked questions like, "Why don't they just go to the tap and turn it on and get water?" And my teacher explained that not everyone had taps, and some kids had to walk as far as 5 kilometers to go get water. Do you guys know how far 5 kilometers is?
I think I do, because I did a
Yeah.
marathon. Oh, I did one that was 1 kilometer. Never
Yeah,
mind.
I was kind of the same, as I didn't really understand how far that was. I thought I did. And my teacher, she tried to explain it to us, and she said 5,000 steps, which didn't help too much because I couldn't count to 5,000 in grade 1. But I counted the steps it took me to get from my classroom to the water fountain, and I counted 10. And, we just came out of kindergarten, and one thing that was like forced upon us in kindergarten was this idea of sharing in the classroom. And so to hear that we weren't sharing, I think it made a few of us actually a little upset. So my teacher kind of said, if you want to do something about it, you can raise money for something like a well, and it will help the problem. So I wasn't really the go-getter in my class, but something really spoke to me about it. So I raised my hand and volunteered to do the project, and then started doing chores around my house to fundraise money, only to find out that that wouldn't be nowhere near enough. So I started doing little fundraisers at my school. I think my first one was a Pokemon card raffle, and then little sports tournaments at lunch. And I think uh, teachers and people in my community saw what I was doing, and I think they were surprised because I wasn't really the type of student to go out there and do things. I stood in the back and I waited for class to be over, and I didn't really participate very much. And I think it challenged some of my peers too. They kind of said, if Ryan can do that, like, why can't I? And it slowly grew, and we were able to grow the initiative and fundraise enough money for that first well. And now, over 20 years later, we've been able to fundraise for over 1,400 water projects in over 17 countries around the world, helping over 1 million people get access to clean water. So it's kind of crazy to think that all happened because of my grade 1 school project. But I found something that I cared about, and I raised my hand and I got involved. And I may not have been an expert, but the fact that I cared about it and I was able to share that passion with the world, and then people responded to it really positively. So I think that's just my main lesson, is sometimes you have to think like a kid, not like a grown up, because if I knew all the things I know now, maybe I never would have started, because I would have known how complicated water is as a problem in the world and how hard it would be to fix. But instead, when I was younger, I just knew how I felt and that it wasn't fair. So decided to do something about it. So my only words of advice is, if you find that thing that you care about, do something small, volunteer, give a little bit of your time to it, because who knows what could happen. And that's kind of my story.
I love it. And that's what we talk a lot about at World Changing Kids. We talk about a topic, and then we talk about an action we can take to help make it
Mm,
better. So just one small action. If everybody did that,
perfect.
yeah, in an area that they care about. So this week we learned about water, and some of these kids might be inspired to put their passion and energy towards that. And some might find a different passion, but the more they know, right, the more they learn.
Absolutely.